Hello, this is Bilal, your economic instructor. Today we'll be solving some MCQs for the chapter PES, price elasticity of supply, cross elasticity of supply, and income elasticity of supply. So let's get started. The government redistributes income by raising the top rate income tax using the money raised to finance additional benefits to students and unemployed. Under which condition would the total spending in the economy increase the most? So, the question is stating that we are going to raise taxes for rich salaried class, right? And we are going to give benefits to the students and unemployed. And under which circumstance would the total spending increase the most in the economy? So this is a good MCQ. Let's look at the option. YED is more than 1, and then it's less than 1. Income elasticity of demand for top rate income taxpayer. So if the top rate income taxpayer want to spend more, right? So let's say the income would decrease and we would want their quantity demanded to decrease by a smaller proportion. Why is that? So that the total spending isn't reduced by a greater proportion. Had it decreased by a greater proportion, the total spending would have decreased. So we want to increase the total spending. So the best way is when the spending is being decreased, we want to decrease it by a smaller proportion. Hence, it has to be inelastic. So it's either C or D. And the income elasticity of students that are unemployed, when the income increases, we would want them to have a very high spending so that the consumer expenditure increases, which means it has to be more than 1, right? So C shows more than 1. Hence, C is the right answer. Now, the basic confusion in this MCQ would be the signs, being confused by what is less than 1 and what is more than 1. Moving on, the knowledge of which combination of demand elasticities would be relevant for a firm trying to increase its revenue. Now, all elasticities are important when it comes to maximizing the revenues, right? So YED, XED, PED, everything. Let's look at the option. So PED, XED, YED. A is the right answer, right? Let's move on to the next MCQ. What is cross elasticity of demand? So cross elasticity of demand is basically percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Now this is PED. If it's cross elasticity of demand, the demand has to be for a different product, the price has to be for a different product, right? So let's look at the option. The responsiveness of the quantity demanded of good X due to the change in quantity, due to change in price. So responsiveness of the quantity demanded of good X due to the change in price of Y. So D is supposedly the right answer. Fourth, the cross elasticity of demand between two products X and Y is negative. So whenever XED is negative, this means that it's a complement. What would be the immediate effect of a rise in the price of product Y? So Y price increases, the demand for X would decrease because it's a complement. The demand for product X will fall. All right, that's the right answer. And supply would rise for X. No, the supply would also decrease. Cross elasticity, the cross elasticity of demand would rise. It won't be affected. The price of product X will rise. No, the price of product X will fall because the demand is decreasing. So A is the right answer. Two goods X and Y have a cross elasticity of demand of plus 1.8. Good Y has an income elasticity of demand of minus 0.6. Now, cross elasticity of demand plus 1.8 means that plus is a substitute, and income elasticity of demand negative, which means that this is an inferior good, right? An increase in both the incomes of consumers. So if the incomes are increasing, the demand for Y would decrease. The demand for Y would decrease. Let's identify this. And the price of Y, an increase in both the income of consumers and the price of Y. So if the price of Y increases, the demand for X will increase, right? So C is supposedly the right answer, right? Now we need to look at this from this angle. Let's move on. What is price elasticity of supply? Well, why did they even ask this? Let's look at the options. It's basically percentage change or the responsiveness of the change in quantity supplied due to the change in price. So comparison of the proportionate change in supply to the proportionate change in demand. No. The comparison of proportionate change in supply to the proportionate change in price. Yes. The diagram shows the supply curve for bananas. What is the price elasticity of supply when there is a rise from 5 to 6? So the price increased from 5 to 6, the demand increased from 100 to 150. Now we all know that the price elasticity of supply will always be positive, so A cannot be the answer. And because 2.5 is being repeated, it can be said that D would be the right answer. Let's look at by calculating it. So the percentage change in demand is, what's the new price? A new demand, 150 minus 100 divided by 100 multiplied by 100. So it's a 50% increase in demand, supply. Percentage change in price is, what's the new price? 6 minus 5 upon 5 multiplied by 100. This would give me 1 upon 5, that makes 20%. And if I divide them both, I get a positive 2.5. Hence, D is the right answer. A table shows 3 different prices and quantities supplied per week for 2 products X and Y. Price 10, 15, 20, quantity supplied of X, 80, 100, 110, price of Y, quantity supplied of Y. Alright. What statement about the price elasticity of supply is correct? Alright, now a short answer would be to calculate at every point to get to know the answer. Let's us analyze a shortcut if there could be one. Alright, now I'll just manually calculate in my head. It's changing by 50%. The demand is changing by 25%, right? So it's not elastic, right? The price elasticity PES of X is unitary for a rise in its price from 15 to 20. Okay, 15 to 20, this makes 33% and this makes only 10%. So it's not unitary. The PES of Y is elastic for a fall in its price from 40 to 30. So 40 to 30, this means there is a percentage change in price by 25%. And the supply has changed only by a smaller proportion, just by 4. So even if we calculate, it will be inelastic, hence this cannot be the answer. The PES of Y is unitary for a rise in price from 40 to 50. Alright, 40 to 50 means again 25% increase, and 64 to 80. 64 to 80 also means a 25% increase. So if we divide the change in price and the change in demand, we'll get an answer. The answer would be, the answer would be 1. Yeah. So it's unitary. D is the right answer, right? Let's move on. What would be the price elasticity of supply of cell phone mobiles if their price rose from 100 to 110 and the quantity supplied rose from 200 and 250? So we just need to calculate. You can calculate it on your own. The percentage change in quantity supplied would be 250 minus 200, new minus old upon old, multiply by 100. So this would give me somewhat 50 divided by 200, that's 25%. 25%. And 110 minus 100 divided by 100 multiplied by 100, that would give me percentage change in price, that is 10%. Dividing them both, I get 2.5, and that is my answer C, right? A product has a high price elasticity of supply. What might explain this? So the factors that affect the elasticity of supply is SAT, storability, availability of raw materials, and time taken to produce. So let's look at the option. Alright, so we can say B is the right answer. Opportunity cost has nothing to do with it. It's non-perishable in nature, which means it's storable, hence it's elastic. Inferior good and luxury are not part of price elasticity of supply. The cross elasticity of demand of a good S with respect to the price of P is 1.5. So this means S, P are substitutes, right? Cross elasticity of demand for S with respect to price of R is 1.5 minus S and R are complements. Cross elasticity of demand P and R is minus 1.5. So P and R are complements. Once we have identified this, let's look at the statements. S and P are complements. No, S and P are substitutes. S and P are complements. No, S and P are substitutes. S and P are substitutes. So C or D. P and R are complements. P and R are complements. So C is supposedly a right answer. R is an inferior good. No, we don't know, because the incomes that have changed, we don't have any data for that. Right. So that is it for today. I hope you got something to learn out of them. Keep watching, keep learning. Until next time, thank you.